Hello guys, welcome back once again to my channel where we drop updates on immigration. Now let's go straight, right? Please, if you have not subscribed, please do that very quickly, and also don't forget to share our videos so others can get to know what is going on. We are going to be talking about Nigerians in the United Kingdom in this very news. As you can see here, they say that up to 2,000 Nigerian nurses are risking deportation. In fact, they are going to be deported. 2,000 nurses. That is not a small number of people. I'm going to be telling you details of why they are being sent home. According to the news, they said go back home. 2,000 Nigerian nurses in Britain face deportation, served notice to leave the UK despite awaiting outcomes of appeals. So these 2,000 nurses have appealed, in the UK for their stay, for them to be able to stay there and work legally. But I don't know what the outcome. So it seems that the UK is very, very serious about it. Now, reason behind this kind of deportation threat is the time when they were writing their exams in Nigeria. They say that there is a center, a center in Nigeria where they used to write their medical exams. That is a Nigerian Medical Council location in Oyo State, precisely Ibadan, Oyo State. All right. So in that very place, there is suspicion of manipulation. You know, that kind of Oluwole certificate, forgery, Oluwole certificate, pass. A situation whereby you run your dues, you do settlement and know how you pass your exams. So that is what they are being suspected of. Now, after a thorough investigation was conducted into their past, on how they got their certificate, that is now the outcome. The outcome is what's leading to this deportation that they are facing currently. Now, Home Office revoked visas due to fraud by Nursing and Midwifery Council. Nigerian nurses impacted by NMC's investigation into fraud at a testing site in Ibadan, Oyo State. Investigation launched into Unique Technologies Test Center in Ibadan for anomalous data. They said that they should go and bring more evidence to show that they really can pass that very exams. Although they have been working in the UK and they are doing well. But, there's something I know about Africans. Africans can learn anything just by following you, without going to university. Okay, they can learn that thing perfectly and do it even perfectly, right? But in this modern world, in Obodo Yibo, you must have certificate to defend what you have learned. That is how it is. Now, in Africa, before we use traditional marriage. Once you do that, you are good to go. But now, if you don't go to court to get what we call court marriage, your marriage will not be recognized by any of these Western world or institutions, probably even in Nigeria, as the case may be. But these things are kind of imposed. Every culture, every people have their own way of doing things. But when they say if you go to Rome that you should behave like Romans. Normally, if the government of Nigeria have set the Nigerian standard the way it is supposed to be, others will also follow you through that very standard. But in Nigeria, if the government from the Western world comes in and tell them, oh, you have to be kneeling down and be bathing, the government will collect money and they say, okay, well, everybody should be kneeling down. So when you go outside the country and say, no, we used to stand and bath, they will tell you no, because the government have already accepted it on your behalf. All right. Now, in continuation, They say some Nigerian nurses in the Britain are presently facing deportation by the Home Office in the United Kingdom, UK, and had been served notice of leave to depart the country without any further delay, no time to waste time. They say that some nurses who are at the center of an investigation into widespread fraud that took place at a test center in Nigeria have been served notice to leave the UK, despite still waiting the outcomes of their appeals. Nursing Times can reveal. You can see that it's as serious as it gets here. Letters sent by the Home Office, seen by Nursing Times, have asked nurses to leave the UK as soon as next week, after their visas were revoked following fraud allegations by a nursing regulator. They have revoked their visas now. You can see that. All of them. All 2,009. My goodness. The Nursing and Midwifery Council, NMC, has been accused of deliberately delaying. You know, there was a time they had issue with the government of Nigeria, and they locked the places where they could, go and write their exams or get their final result, because Nigeria government was against them leaving the country, to travel abroad to go and work. Meanwhile, there are no nurses and doctors in Nigeria. I hope you guys remember that time. So this is the result now. According to the information here, they say that the Nigerian Nursing and Midwifery Council has been accused of deliberately delaying hearings and has been urged to immediately remedy the situation so that nurses are not repatriated before their appeal has been heard. The NMC has refuted claims that the delays are deliberate and said it was working to schedule the remaining hearings as soon as possible ASAP. It comes as almost 2,000 internationally educated Nigerian nurses were impacted by the NMC's investigation into fraud concerns at a testing site in Ibadan, Nigeria, run by Pearson Vue on behalf of the NMC. Nursing Times reported last year that almost 50 nurses were looking to take the NMC to court, claiming that they had unfairly had their registration removed to their application to join the register, refused following the fraud investigation. Now, you can see how this whole thing started. It started from the government structure that is in charge of that Nigerian Nurses and Midwifery Council. Some nurses described how they had been permanently fired by their employers and had their visas revoked while they awaited their hearing outcomes. Now, several nurses have been issued letters to leave the UK by the Home Office. So, what are they going to do at this moment is what I do not know. Okay, so let me know what you guys think about this very issue raging in the UK. Our people there now are frustrated, and I wonder how they are going to cope in these hard times. Nursing Times can reveal that the same 50% served the NMC with a pre-action protocol letter in February, giving the regulator 14 days to respond to their concerns or legal action would be taken. Among several demands, the NMC was asked to liaise with the Home Office to ensure that the nurses threatened with deportation can stay in the UK until the appeals have concluded. In addition, the letter called for a complete reconsideration of all those who have been removed from the register or had their application refused after one of the 50 nurses accused of fraudulent entry successfully appealed. Nursing Times understand that the NMC failed to respond to the pre-action protocol letter by the deadline, and that the nurses will now be looking to pursue legal action. Okay, so the whole thing is just a kind of a government failure on their part to, do the right thing. Now, these nurses are hanging in the balance, and I'm not sure that they are going to find it any easy. It's going to be tough for them to be able to remain in the UK. As far as the the Nigerian office have not done anything or been able to meet up with the demand or request by the nurses in UK. So next week, this collapse may happen and these guys will be deported to Nigeria. Very sad and unfortunate indeed. Imagine 2,000 nurses being deported now to a country like Nigeria at the moment when everything is expensive and things, the cost of living have skyrocketed. Some of these nurses sold their land, sold everything they had just to make sure that they travel overseas. Even some families sold their land and all that just to sponsor their daughters and sons to the UK. Now, today, look at what we are hearing on their behalf. May God help his own people. Amen. This matter is a serious one. So drop your comment and share this video. Nigeria needs to do better. People are suffering because of their last in fact, their bad attitude. My English. Anyway, guys, please don't forget to use tap send to send money to Nigeria. If you use my promo code for people in UK, you are getting up to £15 on top of the money that you are sending. And their rate is also very high. So there's no wayo, no mago. It's a very nice and reliable app. I recommend. Okay, so use my promo code to get all these bonuses that they are offering, like £15, 15 euros, $30 for people in USA, $30 for people in Canada, and 75 AED for people in Dubai. So you got nothing to lose, guys. So use my promo code to support what we are doing. Thank you and God bless you. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.